What's up, Blue Roof Nation, and welcome back to the Uncanny Fans presents John's Corner. I'm your host, John, as always, and let's just get into it, alright? Right off the bat, so last episode, I talked about Star Trek Discovery and some of my issues with it, namely the Klingons and how they look all different than how they were supposed to look in that time period, and I stand by that. I still have issue with it. But they've since released statements about how with the ridges on their head are about sensory, and the Klingon Empire is vast, and maybe they're from another planet, like another section of the Klingon Empire, and they weren't affected by the virus, and they evolved differently. And if that's the case, all right, I'm on board. Give me that and I'll forgive everything else. Even though it is kind of a bullshit answer, I will take that bullshit answer and I will be happy and satisfied, and I will move on and accept this as our new Klingons, even though they should technically look more like this. I mean, I'll accept this because it's at least something that we've known for a long time. I mean, that's how Worf looks, but if this is all we'll get, fine. As long as you give me a plausible explanation as to why. You're science fiction. That means that the fictional universe has to have bases in science. Especially since you're Star Trek. You have a legacy. You invented the cell phone. You invented the tablet. You invented the 3D printer. You invented all these things that we use in the real world now. You can't just make up shit willy-nilly. Like, there has to be a basis in actual science. That was one of Gene Roddenberry's main things that he fought on. And it's just, I want this show to honor that legacy, honor what it came before. The other thing I want to talk about is, so, you know, there's this whole controversy about how the word God couldn't be used on the new show, and how it's been a big part of Star Trek this whole time. Well, the executive producer came out and said that's not true. He doesn't know how that story got out or why that's said, but that he feels that Star Trek is all about diversity, and part of diversity is diversity of beliefs. And he was like, you can believe in God, you know, you can worship a potato for all I care. He was like, all of that stuff has a place in Star Trek, and I agree. That was the point I was making last time. And he was like, it's played a decent. He said it played a pretty big part. It plays a part in the show, and it was a big discussion in the writers' room. So, why it was said on set that he couldn't say, maybe it was just the director felt that way, maybe it was a misunderstanding, maybe that character doesn't believe, like, there's all these other things that could come on, and it was just a story that leaked and then went out, so maybe I jumped the gun on that judgment. Just, CBS has not been, CBS and Paramount, they've not been showing fans or the series much love lately. A lot of the things they've done has been kind of questionable if they even know what Star Trek is, let alone if they enjoy it or like it. But that's just my feel. But these recent discoveries, these recent leaks on the show, kind of regain my faith that it's going to be a good show, and I hope it is. I'm looking forward to it. I still think that being on the CBS app instead of just television is bullshit, but whatever. It is what it is. And the only good thing is, can't think of a good thing. That really is a stupid thing. Like, why are you gonna screw over your fans, your loyal fan base? But whatever. I'm glad the Klingon thing possibly has an answer that makes sense and is in-universe makes sense. And that the God thing doesn't just destroy all of this, because the original series takes place after this. So if they move past God at this point, they didn't rediscover. Like, it's just weird. But apparently all that's bullshit, so good on you, Star Trek. I approve, and let's move on. Let's see what happens, because I want to be excited for it. I want a new Star Trek show. I mean, I would prefer if it took place after Nemesis, but I'm excited. Let's hope it's good. Or maybe we can get our Enterprise movie that we never got. That would be nice. I would really enjoy an Enterprise movie. Because, I mean, come on. Every other Star Trek show that has a ship named Enterprise got movies. Why not that? Why? Because he was on Quantum Leap? It's just rude. It's rude, I tell you. It's rude. It's just disrespectful. I can't look at you with this smell of disrespect. Alright, moving on. So, Deadpool was an amazing movie. I don't know if any... Sure, most of you have seen Deadpool. Amazing fucking movie. So they've announced, even at the end of that movie, that they were going to bring Cable into the new movie. And no, it's not going to be played by Ron Perlman, who I still stand by would have been the perfect Cable. Perfect Cable. No, instead it's going to be Josh Brolin, which he's already playing Thanos. Why does he need to play both? I don't know how I feel about how he looks as Cable. Like, here's a picture. Here's how Cable looks. Here's a fan renditioning of how Ron Perlman would look as Cable. You tell me, who do you think fits the role better? Now, don't get me wrong, he's an amazing actor, and I think he will kill the part. I just don't know if he looks the part. But whatever, I love Cable. Cable's one of my favorite X-Men. I mean, Cyclops' dad is my favorite X-Men. But Cable's up there. Cable's awesome. And I always loved the old comic series Cable and Deadpool. That was a great-ass series. Their relationship was fucking awesome. And it leads me to believe... Okay, so Deadpool didn't really have a whole lot to do with the X-Men. You know, you saw Colossus and stuff like that in the mansion and all that, but didn't really interact too much. But they're making a New Mutants movie. And apparently it's going to be a straight-up horror movie, which is fucking awesome. An X-Men horror movie? I mean, where do I hand my money to? I mean, I'm kind of iffy on Fox movies, Fox X-Men movies, because they haven't had the best track record, but a New Mutants horror movie, especially if you know anything about the New Mutants, and there's certain characters, like, that could be really legit. But what I'm more excited about is the possibilities in the future. Now, you're dropping Cable in the Deadpool movie, which is R. Alright, it's an R-rated movie. The New Mutants, if it's going to be horror, we all know all good horror movies are R, so hopefully the New Mutants movie is R. Which means that it will be closer in sync with the Deadpool movie than with the X-Men movies. And if that's the case, then maybe you do New Mutants, the first New Mutants, and then maybe you do a second New Mutants. And then maybe in the second New Mutants or possibly the third New Mutants, you have Cable meet the New Mutants, right? You have a meet. And then in the next movie, it's called X-Force, and you introduce the world to X-Force. And not Wolverine's X-Force, but like the legit X-Force with Cable in charge and all that. That would be badass. That would be really legit. You know, you have, like, all this extreme shit that the X-Men never deal with, all being led by Cable. That would be badass. And then if you wanted to, you could even go a really weird route. And, you know, you start to change some of the actors up and some of the characters up and all that. And then you slowly turn it into Ecstatic and you just have a movie about a weird, like, reality show. Ecstatic was always odd to me. Never really understood it. But New Mutants and X-Force was fucking awesome, alright? And I'm just excited. I'm excited that we're getting Cable. I'm excited that we're getting the New Mutants. And I'm excited that there's a real chance to do X-Force and to do it right. Now we just need X-Factor. That would be awesome. I don't care if you give me the original X-Factor with the original X-Men, or if you give me Jamie Maddox X. Oh my god, if you do the... Oh, that should be a TV show. You want a TV show? You do X-Factor when it was a detective agency run by Jamie Maddox. That would be a badass show. I'd watch that. I'd watch the hell out of that. Can we watch that now? Is that a thing? Can we make that? Fox, what are you doing? Why are you making all these other shows? Make that show right now. Alright, moving on. Let's dive into some comic book news. So, you all know The Punisher. Even if you're not a comic book fan, you know who The Punisher is now. I mean, he's been played in a series of movies. From the 80s to the 2000s. To the less talked about movie that is fucking amazing. To the fan film that is better than all the movies. To his appearance on Daredevil and getting his own show on Netflix. What? Even his appearance in the Spider-Man cartoon. Even if you're not a comic fan, you know who the Punisher is. And you know who War Machine is. If you're a movie fan. I mean, he's been played by two amazing actors. throughout the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's a great character. In case you don't know who he is, War Machine is James Rhodes, he used to work for Tony Stark, and then they became, in the comics he worked for him, and then he was Iron Man for a while when Tony was hitting the booze. Amazing storyline. And then when Tony Stark came back to being Iron Man, he gave him a new suit of armor called the War Machine. In the movies, he was just he was his friend, he was in the army, and he was his liaison with the army. But in the comics, so I'm not gonna give spoilers, but something happened to James Rhodes. He's not War Machine anymore. So they're gonna replace him with Punisher. They're gonna turn Punisher into War Machine, and I'm excited. Like this sounds a much better fit for Punisher than when they made him like Frankenstein's monster, which was fucking weird. I read it, but it's a weird ass storyline. Fucking weird. But this is a much better fit. Because if anyone should be War Machine, it should be Punisher, man. Can you imagine Punisher fighting crime with a fucking Iron Man suit, with the fucking machine guns right here, the missiles right here? That is gonna be one bloody ass comic book. And I'm there, like, take my money, take everything, I'm there. I'm there. I'm there right now, shit. I'm waiting in line in front of my comic book store at this moment waiting for that comic, because that's gonna be badass. Although to admit, I am more excited for the Punisher TV show. Is it here yet? Is Defenders here yet? What's going on? I don't know. But let me know in the comments below. The comics below. Man, I'm talking too much about comic books. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments below what you think about these things. If you think Discovery is going to be good. If you think that the Klingons need an explanation for why they look like that. Or if it doesn't matter and continuity is stupid. Asshole. Or or anything else. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you haven't already done so, please hit that subscribe button. And until next time, I'm Jonathan. This is John's Corner. Give us legends.